When someone brings up the 80s in conversation, what immediately comes to mind? Back to the Future, Michael Jackson, Zapped. All of your answers may vary, but for me, whenever I think of the 80s, I think of two things. Oingo Boingo and the Humanoid.
Yes, it may come as a surprise, but the 80s were not mutually exclusive to America, as this 1986 OVA proves. Everything that people associate with the 80s is present here in this show. Wait, no, I'll go further than that. The Humanoid is pure, distilled 80s. The only way this show could be even more 80s is if the disc was made up entirely of recycled bolo ties.
And the show is pretty bad. I mean, it's not catastrophically bad or anything like that. Really, it's just boring, ugly, and cheesy. Really, really fucking cheesy.
Time seems to stand still in space. It's as if we were drifting aimlessly, floating between the stars.
I guess Billy D. Williams really was hard up for work after Star Wars.
At least we'll reach our destination soon.
Is that a black man? In an anime?
Holy shit, it is! Not only is that character black, but he's also one of the principal characters, and the first character you see during the show!
This is like finding a leprechaun's pot of gold in a unicorn's asshole. I mean, outside of Afro Samurai and Michiko Tohachi, I can't even think of another anime that had black characters that weren't just off to the side. Is that racist? Hold on, I'm gonna check. It's borderline.
Actually, my earlier comparison to Billy D seems a little apropos, considering the show opens with a cheap Star Wars imitation text crawl of exposition, explaining that humanity coexists on a distant planet with a race of aliens called the Megalotians.
I never noticed until now, but this kind of text crawl is sort of a pain in the ass to read. I don't know, maybe the Star Wars theme will help. No, now it's just depressing.
Principal Blackman here is piloting a ship on a supply run to the distant planet Lazaria, where his crewman, Mullen McGee, has a girl waiting for him. As soon as we got that little bit of awkward exposition spoon-fed to us, we are treated to our first moment of 80s cheese.
Holy shit. It's like a Japanese Debbie Gibson.
And it doesn't stop there. This show will literally halt its tracks just to have a music video blare at us for 3 minutes.
And considering that the show does this 4 times over the course of its runtime, and the show only lasts 45 minutes, The Humanoid is literally 25% music video. You know how sad it is that this show has literally more music video content than MTV?
We cut to Lazaria, where apparently the atmosphere is made up entirely of laughing gas.
Are you expecting someone special?
You know, I don't think it's the scantily clad women, the overly sexual imagery of children, or maybe even the cultural barriers that prevents mainstream acceptance of anime. It's the constant and grating laughter. Did she just sigh with her eyes?
Hey, we're losing altitude fast, Eric. Try and pull her up before we crash.
I'm trying, but we're losing power.
Hey, maybe if you actually moved, you could save the ship. You'd live at least. The two decide to ditch their ship, escaping on a surprisingly aerodynamic space pod. Seriously, this thing has the shape of a pill bottle, but look at haul ass! Immediately, they enter a dogfight with some mysterious red spaceships. Cue the Kenny Loggins!
Wait, no, this is way too highbrow for this. Oh, I got it. Cue the Flash Gordon!
Anywhoozits, the two managed to lose the pursuing ships, so we cut to two of the leaders of the Megalotians arguing over whether or not they should attempt to tap into an ancient power source hidden in one of the planet's ruins called the Ixion. Of course, Beardy here thinks it's too dangerous, but the obviously evil and fey villain, Pantene, brushes him off and just pimps away. And of course, Beardy is so cowed by Pantene's swishy presence that he immediately thinks he's in the wrong.
Perhaps he's right. Maybe I've grown too old. Maybe I'm the only one who wanted to make this planet his home. But the Princess Ignacia could be in danger.
I should probably do something about it. Maybe after Matlock.
Meanwhile, Principal Blackman and Mullet McGee have managed to trek their way to their destination at Dr. Watson's lab. There, Mullet comes across Antoinette, the eponymous humanoid.
Yeah, we're about a third of the way through this, and we finally get to meet the title character. You know how bad it is that if you're the title character in an 80s show, and you're still getting less screen time than the black guy?
I knew his project was gonna be special, and I'm glad he had a sense of form as well.
What do you mean?
It means I want to fuck you.
Up until now, the animation has been pretty low standard, but it's about here where we begin devolving into chicken scratch. Seriously, when you make Dr. Katz look like Batman the Animated Series, just quit. So after the two of them settle, Mullet decides to take his real doll of a girlfriend out to the beach, and of course Antoinette joins them. 20 minutes into this and we still haven't had our 80s schmaltz. Oops, spoke too soon.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I am. Come on!
Oh, sure. Splash the electronic device with water. See what happens. Fucking morons.
Well, apparently water on this planet doesn't conduct electricity, because later that night we see Antoinette asking about Principal Blackman's wife. Apparently she must be on the way out, because either I'm going crazy, or Principal Blackman is trying to hit on the robot.
But human emotions such as love are impossible to convert into computer data.
Oh?
Oh, Antoinette, come over here. I'll show you what I mean.
You go get her, Billy D.
Eric? Is there something
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh! Okay. Never do that again. Fucking frog-eyed bitch.
I don't know if it's a style thing or if it's just the cheap production, but the real doll here cannot go 1 second without making Steve Buscemi eyes at everyone. Well, with the romance scene over and Antoinette saddened by the fact that she doesn't have a vagina, we cut back to Beardy giving Pantene the key to the Ixion, even though he thinks the Ixion is dangerous and unleashing it will doom everyone.
Asshole, then what did you give him the key for? What the fuck is wrong with you?
You need 2 keys to launch the Ixion. Dr. Watson has the other one.
Oh, I see. So even if he does have that one, he won't be able to do anything with it without the other key. I'm sure the fat robot scientist will be able to keep his away from him better than you did, because he won't hand it to him on a fucking satin pillow!
And guess what? Pantene declares martial law and throws Beardy and the princess in jail. Who'da thunk? Back with Mullet McGee, we discover that the ruins where they crashed their ship has since been excavated, but he alerts the guards and sets off their 80s action montage alarm.
Intruder alert!
Alas, the power of 80s synth isn't enough to help Mullet escape, and is subsequently captured and brought before Pantene. Pantene orders Dr. Sonny Bono here to cough up the key to the Ixion, but he tells him that the key is with Antoinette, who has the power of 80s rock on her side. But the tables are turned once again when Pantene takes the real doll hostage and orders them to hand over the key.
Yes, we get it. You're evil. Can we move on? I already met my awkward laugh joke quota at the beginning.
We've got to find a way to get away from those robots. I'll distract them while you two run for it.
Shh! I think they can hear you. All may seem bleak, but Principal Blackman makes the save!
Hurry up, would you? My coffee's starting to cool off.
Oh, forgot to mention this, but Principal Blackman here really loves his coffee. And he will not shut up about it.
And the rich smell of this coffee that keeps my spirits up. You make a fine cup of coffee. Great. And I had to go make coffee for two. Coffee, my salvation from my day-to-day drudgery.
Fuck. I thought I was bad with my addiction, but at least I try other addictive substances. Why don't you go ahead and forget I said that?
With the robots out of the way, Mullet speeds away on a really dorky-looking hoverbike, with a rejuvenated Antoinette following close behind. But they're too late, as Pantene has already inserted the keys into the Ixion and promptly kills himself.
Well, that's one problem down, but if we're gonna save the world, we're gonna have to bust out the big guns. Yes. Cue the yes!
Of course, if you know your 80s melodrama, then you should know that this is about the time when Antoinette sacrifices her life.
It's not a question of will she live or die, really. No, it's a question of will they add a triangle sound effect when the robot sheds a tear, finally knowing what love is, or some such shit. There we go.
Oh, and they even added rain right after she kicks the bucket. Nice touch. Well, apparently Mullet wasn't all that broken up over losing a robot that he's known for a day, as he, Principal Blackman, and his real dolls set off back for Earth.
A little bitter, but still an excellent blend.
Does it remind you of home?
Was that a Folgers commercial reference?
It's really hard for me to hate on the humanoid, and I know it sounds weird after I spent the better part of 10 minutes ripping on it, but I'm telling the truth. It has just enough 80s cheese to make it an ironic indulgence, but not enough to make it aggravating or painful.
In the end, I guess you can call it harmless. But I can't say the same thing for our next episode. Till next time.